Welcome again, and thank you for joining our global webinar day here at Infosim. Our topic today is Unified Industrial IoT, SDN and ICT Infrastructure Management. My name is Dietmar Kneidl, Director of Sales Europe with Infosim, and I will be moderating today's event. Joining us from Munich is Dr. Marcel Wagner, Senior Application Engineer with our partner Intel. Good afternoon, Dr. Wagner, and welcome to today's webinar.
Hello, Dietmar. Hello, everyone. I'm glad to be here and looking forward to this exciting session.
Well, glad to have you with us. So, joining us from his office in Munich is my colleague Peter Moessbauer, our Strategic Alliances Manager. Peter has been with us for about 7 years now, has a degree in data communications, and before joining Infosim has held management positions with a number of companies, among them Infovista, T-Systems, Ericsson and Motorola. Good afternoon to you, Peter, and welcome to the show.
Good afternoon, Dietmar. Thanks very much.
And last but not least, joining us from our headquarter office here in Würzburg, Germany, is my colleague Christopher Kalkhof. Chris is leading our business development efforts here at Infosim. He's been with us for about 2 years, and before Infosim he worked in leading positions with AVM, Comarch and Ostertag, just to name a few of them. He's been in the telco and data processing industry since 1987, I guess. So good afternoon to you, Chris, and welcome to the webinar.
Hi Dietmar, hello to everybody. The servers are running for the live demo, so we are able to start.
Okay, perfect. Well, however, before I hand over things to Peter, just a couple of things I want you to know. First off, when entering our webinar, all of you are automatically put on mute just to keep down the background noise. So if you have questions, you will need to type them in the questions or chat window of the GoToWebinar application. And as usual, we'll be taking care of all your questions either directly in the chat or at the end of today's webinar in the Q&A session. So please don't hold back. Let us know if you have a question or a remark at any time. Also, please take note that we're recording this event, and since you have all registered, you will be notified tomorrow with a quick email that includes the link to that recording. That's all from my end so far, so I'm going ahead and turning over control to our presenter, Peter Moessbauer. Peter, it's your show now.
Okay, Dietmar, thank you very much, and thanks a lot for that introduction of us all. Yeah, I have the pleasure to show you today the challenges on IoT, especially also with SDN and ICT infrastructure. We had a short intro. Tonight we have another session, so we'll have a pleasure to have Dr. Marcel Wagner on today from speakers from Intel, and in the evening Dr. Jashish Shroff in the USA. So let's go and jump directly into the management and orchestration challenges for industrial IoT, SDN and IT infrastructure. Why challenges? They had been addressed by many of the contacts and in the industry that we had been talking about, and you all know IoT, no new topic, but you heard in the past weeks and months many concerns about security, many security issues. So as we are talking about industrial environments here in terms of energy, transportation, aviation and production, automotive things and areas like that. This is not about IoT with elements from a shop around the corner. This is really in a production environment, and there are much different and much more strict security requirements and concerns, of course, on that. And they require solutions to safely operate things. Just think of an energy company running high voltage lines here. Don't imagine, and nobody wants to really think of what would happen if this gets out of control, you know, by unwanted access, things like that, or even the monitoring fails or so. And so high challenges, high risk, and they need to be solved. And the people did address, interestingly, certain areas which they had been asked to, which we have been asked to look in, like monitoring. They addressed limited monitoring, the capability to see things on the infrastructure in the right way, in the right time, in near real time, things like that. Then the security of the IoT solution, so security in terms of management, security in terms of network infrastructure, security in terms of the IoT gateways, and in terms of the sensors. Is this the right sensor I'm talking to? Is this the right data coming? It hasn't been not spoofed, something like that. Is this sensor still in the place where it should be? You know, just think of a sensor on a big boiler, chemical industry, and that would be a risk if it's the sensor is there but in the wrong place. You know. Then, of course, coming together with that, the network connectivity, the data availability, that you really get that in time. Then, of course, we're not talking about small environments. These environments can go, think of IoT metering, smart cities, they can go into millions of devices. So small-scale management solutions just couldn't handle that. Also, the data solutions must be scaling up to millions of devices. And then, of course, you don't want to be, as an operator, flooded with data and sensors. You might have several thousands out there, but you can't handle them. So you would like to model them usually in terms of a service chain. So like a production area where you have a full production chain and you just want to monitor everything, but when something deviates or the capacity is changing or there is a trend showing that something is going out of scope or out of a threshold or a gauge, needs to be signaled on, and you need that signal quickly and you need it in the right spot to be able to react on. And then last not least, of course, SDN, NFV, these things need to work across certain infrastructures. They can be, of course, on very advanced SDN and NFV environments. They can also be on legacy environments or any combination. Legacy in quotes, because that are the classical router switch VPN networks we are using every day basically, but in terms of SDN we call that legacy. We had an interesting study running from EMA, which they did poll a large number of IT professionals and operations professionals in the industry and in the telco and MSP space, and they gave some feedback what are their most concerns within IoT. And the interesting thing was the first number one mentioned was limited monitoring of connected IoT devices or things, so to really get access to that and have that information. That was 44%. Then the second was lack of security controls. That was 38%. Third was limited remote network connectivity, which in somehow ties into the first point. But when we talked to energy companies, they addressed lack of security as the most concerning part for them. So this really depends on the industry, but all had shared these 3 points to be addressed. And to look into that, we had go to this. Okay, we had been working with Intel, and because, you know, from the management side, we have the experience with running MSP services, telco service, multi-client, multi-vendor, things in that environment. But when you talk to IoT, you need an infrastructure element in there. And we did interwork in the past months very successfully with Intel, and especially about Intel IoT gateways, sensors, and the security. So one question which did always come up is, and I would like to address that to Dr. Wagner, is, Marcel, if you could give us a brief outline about the security elements you have within your Intel IoT platform solution to address that concerns of the large industrial clients. Please, Marcel.
Yes, sure, Peter. So in principle, Intel provides security features on several layers, which then sum up to an end-to-end infrastructure protection. For example, On the gateways, you have everything you need to do trusted boot in the firmware, and to do it ideally together with the trusted platform module. Then we provide all the capabilities in the processor to do remote device attestation based on something which is called enhanced privacy ID, which can be used to identify and certify a device without breaking privacy rules. So you don't know which device it is, but you can know it's a device belonging to the right group of devices. Then you can use this mechanism to do secure onboarding of software to your device after you identified it. You can do then, once the operating system booted, integrity management, making sure that the root file system, you can enforce policies on the root file system that is not changed, or you can use whitelisting, making sure that only listed applications can be executed, and this can also be used to remote device software updating, firmware updating and management. Then another security feature is the hardware support for encryption. So you can use this to speed up your encryptions, for example, to encrypt your data partition. And of course, there are many, many more, but this is an excerpt of the important parts on the gateway.
Okay, Dr. Wagner, thanks a lot for that brief overview. And of course, if anybody needs to know more about, we're happy to share this information. This brings me to basically the next slide, where you see the infrastructure itself, that we have built this up in our demonstration or reference lab together with Intel to have all the elements or all key elements in there. So on the low end we have various sensors, IoT gateways from Intel. We have the access network, of course, the core network. We have stubs and links into cloud and cloud controllers, and on the EMS level, as I would call it here, we have IoT controllers, SDN legacy controllers like ONUS cloud controllers, and above we have our StableNet solution to do not only the monitoring, also to enable orchestration, configuration, and so on. And above, of course, all this information can be accessed by MSP operators, by telcos, by enterprise IT management, and also by production environments, which for instance need to see a production chain. When we look at the infrastructure itself, or how we did lay it out, so we have the classical StableNet management solution, in that case StableNet Telco, and we just did add and put StableNet agents on the Intel IoT gateway platform. So that is a very efficient way to also ensure the security on that, because the links in between are encrypted. And from there we can pick up all data, we can check software. We will show that live on later on, but just to give you an idea about the infrastructure, how it looks like, and all the processing, mainly management, is mainly handled by the agents. So this can really scale to the very, very large, because the agents have to do the job. The manager is more relaxed, I would say. When we look at the SDN NFV environment, you know, we have this also in place. We have set up a controller with StableNet. We use the ONUS controller. We had others before as well, you know, it's just in this environment. And we use that to set up the network infrastructure and also to connect in the IoT gateways. It's not necessary to use an SDN network to have this safe, but you know, this is a combination which was available there, very advanced, and we could show it, but also together with legacy and network environments. You can also use the classical links, internet access, it's all encrypted in between. You can use VPNs. This is an example of how it can be done. It's all handled by StableNet, the same solution. Whatever is below, it's just an extension in the technology what we handle there. Yeah, this brings me to the next point, and we, of course, you can do a lot of PowerPoint, but we would like to show it live. And Our colleague Chris Kalkhof will take you through the online demonstration. So we will show things like unified discovery across that multi-vendor, across technology environment. Of course, the classical service assurance fault, the automated grouping, monitoring, some configuration management and change management. Finally, to ease the operation and not to make it complicated by a large zoo of systems, to really make it simpler, you know, and the system is there to do this and help this. Of course, you have to set up things or so, but what can be automated will be done automatically. So to ease the operations. Chris, are you ready?
Yes, thank you, Peter. I'm ready. So I think now my screen is shown. Yes, everything starts in our software with the installation of an agent. This is now a view to our master GUI, and you see here we install our agent software on an Intel IoT gateway. After this agent is running, we are able to discover everything in this environment. That means we go to the agent and say, okay, make a discovery job and now show us something what's there in the network, in the entire network. So we see here a structure, a tree structure of the network. To some graphical things I'm coming later. And then you are able to see in real time, okay, I have here an IoT, Intel-based IoT gateway with the classic technical informations about the CPU load, about the storage and so on. And you see we have an issue. It's a real life demo. We have an issue. We have not enough free space on this device. And then, okay, I need more space. Show me what kind of software is installed on this gateway. And you have an overview about the installed software. It's only one mouse click. And then you see, okay, what alarms this device are generating. You see here, now here I have an alarm. It's the storage alarm. You are able, with one mouse click, you are able to open this. If you have a connected ticket system, you see the ticket status. It's an acknowledged alarm, not acknowledged alarm. Everything about the alarms displayed in one application. So if you need other information from the other devices from this network, go to this network with one mouse click, go to the health, you see, okay, this device is running, go to the ONO server, you see this ONO server is a Linux-driven machine, you see the interfaces of this machine, that means you have here some Ethernet ports which are connected to the network, and you see, okay, they are running, and you see the IP addresses, all technical information, the speeds are displayed in this StableNet view. So after this, now we have the agents are running, we have the inventory discovered. Okay, after this we go to the measurements. And the measurements are the part of the application where you are able to show the sensors. I go to one sensor, it's in here, or we have 4 temperature sensors on one IoT gateway. I say, okay, show me what kind of data they are delivering in our system. And you see, these are the sensor data from the IoT gateway. You see the temperature curve, and then you are able to go, okay, give me the last seconds, give me a quick view about the last seconds. You see, nothing happened in the last seconds, but give me the whole day in minutes, and you see that is the real-time data with the temperature, and the yellow one is from an outside temperature, and today in Würzburg it's up to 15 degrees. And then here you need more information. You see it in detail. And again, this is done by one application. You don't need a special element manager to analyze the temperature data or something else. And then we have the complete overview about over network with the functionality of dashboards. You see here, this is for the logical view for the people who like some graphic things, but we prepared another view for the infrastructure. And then you see more. It's very hard. It's a big network. It's an ONOS-driven, SDN-driven network, and then you see the components. You see the bandwidth between the components, and you see one cam picture. This is a cam picture from this device, from the IoT device, and you are able with one mouse click, jump to the link, go to the device. Now my browser opened, and then you are able to look to the real-time picture, and you see here you are able to move this cam. It's a direct link from our StableNet. After this, now you have everything in place. You are able to change the overview to the normal view, and you go to the reporting. That means everything needs or have to be reported to the management or to somebody else to generate reports. We have a report dashboard, and then, okay, I want to the network health report weekly, and now I want to run this report. I go to the report dashboard. The report is now live, and you see here everything from the complete IoT network, what brings some issues, what have some errors, and so on and so on and so on. And I think you see here on the button, you see the IoT with not enough space in this case. So you see here the owner's control unit, everything is controlled. It's a web-based report, so very easy, very perfect to generate the reports from our application. Now we have the part device automation. Device automation, you are able to configure the network. I show you one easy configuration job. This is the web service, start the web service in my network. I show you the job, schedule settings, when you are able to schedule, or here you are able to schedule the report, a single report, daily, interval, monthly report, and you see I need the credentials where I'm able to log in this, and then I have the config command. So when you say, okay, for what device I need this configuration, you are able to select the devices in a very easy way, and then for which customer, because StableNet in the telco version is a multi-antenna software, so you are able to decide for which customers we need this configuration job. After this, only right mouse button and start the job. And for every job, we have a job analyzer. That means, is the job running perfect? You're able to go to the job analyzer and you see, okay, we have here now some failures in the summary. We have some problems with this job. You are able to reconfigure this job. It's very easy to handle this job for the network. Yes, this was a very rough overview about all functionality from StableNet. It's a real end-to-end solution. That means we have not only the IoT sensor, we not only see the IoT sensor, we not only see the IoT gateway, we see the complete network behind this, and everything is able to show it web-based. You see here, my web browser is open. You are able to go to the overview, and you have a complete web-based GUI to our complete functionality. And here the same, right mouse button, jump to link, and you are able to connect to the CAM on a direct way. So I think the demo now is done. After this, we are glad to hear more from you, to show you this in more detail. So feel free and come back to us. Now I go back to Peter.
Chris, thank you a lot. Thanks a lot for that demonstration. Of course, as Chris has said, we can show much more, but of course our time is a little bit limited for this webinar to keep it short for you. But if you need detailed information or detailed demonstration, we're also happy to arrange and schedule that for that, because we can go into lots of topics and lots of configurations also in SDN owners in this environment, and how to do that and how to set up the jobs and what you can address. Coming back to the challenges, so when you looked at that monitoring, IoT, security and so on, we did look into that with our colleagues from Intel, And so we came up with a very well-matching solutions environment. As we're working with Intel on the network builders in the SDN space and also on the IoT group in the IoT space and the combined teams. And so for the network, we do cross-silo, cross-technology, cross-vendor, multi-client monitoring. And on the security, we take care about the management part, how the data is accessed, how these things are managed, the communication to these devices and backward, and how the users can get this information. And then on network connectivity and data availability, we can transport this information, put that into views, as Chris did show. Of course, we in our reference lab or so, we just have a few devices, but there will be in the field there can be very much larger environments. We have also environments where we have billions of devices out there, not all IoT yet, of course, the classical, but for us it's not a size which which we have limits on because of our architecture. So scalability is very high to cover that and to also go in environments, in secure environments, to get smart metering data in, to get data from power transmission lines, and so coming via direct or via gateway or via element managers, whatever, wherever this data is coming from. And of course, the modeling of service is key to model entire production chains, to really pinpoint where is the issue, what needs to be done, where is something going wrong in terms of trend, something building up, still okay, but will go out of a range within the next week or hour or whatever. And also on the capacity, then the automatable orchestration, so seeing mass configurations, roll things out, check on vulnerability issues, and of course in any combination of SDN, NFV, legacy networks, can be also virtual networks or virtual systems in place there, just to give you an idea about, the point now is, Dietmar, you were tracking the questions. Any questions for us which you would like to highlight, please?
Well, thank you very much, Peter. Yeah, we did get actually quite a number of questions. But before we dive into that, just a quick note to our audience. I have uploaded 2 files that all of you are able to download now. One is a PDF version of the slides we've been using today. So if you're interested to review those, please feel free to download the file labeled Global Webinar Day GWD 2017. And also our partner Intel has provided us with an IoT platform solution brief that you are able to download exclusively right now from the GoToWebinar panel. So that much about our handouts. And yeah, I picked a number of questions that might be of interest to all of our audience. And the first question actually goes to Dr. Wagner directly. And it's about what options and interfaces do industrial IoT gateways support in general to connect with industrial IoT sensors and actuators. Maybe, Dr. Wagner, you can elaborate a little bit on that one.
Thanks, Dietmar. Yes, in principle, Intel has a platform of choice strategy. Means that every software stack, every operating system should run optimal on Intel platform. And actually, it's part of my day-to-day work to work together with the ecosystem and with partners, with software vendors, but also OEMs, to make sure that and help them that their software runs, is ported or is optimized on Intel platforms. So that's the reason why we can look at a strong ecosystem platforms and software and drivers running on our platform. For example, almost every field bus like Modbus, Profibus, CAN is running on our platforms. We have a wide choice of communication modules like LTE, narrowband, IoT, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, Zigbee, Sigfox, and also all the typical protocols you need in this area, like MQTT, OPC UA. You find something in the ecosystem which works for you and your environment.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Dr. Wagner. I'm pretty sure that answered that question. And there is another question I would like to highlight. This one is actually one for us here at Infosim, and it is more of a strategic question. And I think, Peter, you would be the right person to answer that one. Question is, why did Infosim put a focus on integration with Intel IoT gateways? I mean, there is other companies out there that do provide gateways. So why Intel?
Very good question, and say a very easy answer for us, because we were looking for a professional IoT gateway solution which would be accepted by our industrial clients, so the telco, the MSPs, the energy companies. There are many IoT gateways and equipment you can buy just from the shop around the corner, not very expensive. But when you look in the past months, what happened to many of these things, they were part of a unwanted denial of service attack and things like that. As we are in an industrial environment, nothing like that would be accepted. So the first thing we usually have to answer to our clients, why is your solution secure? And if we can't answer that, they will not look in our solutions. Intel is a perfect partner because they have taken care about that, about the security, as Dr. Wagner expressed with the platform, that the software is secured, already from the platform itself, and also the interfaces, how the encryption works, how it's authenticated, how it can be monitored, how it can be bound in, and as said before, if you are thinking on actuators on high voltage power lines or automotive production chain, you don't want to take the risk that anything comes in between and stops your operation or affects your security of your people, So this was a very natural choice, and we're very happy to interwork with Intel there. What it turned out, in addition, was very easy for us from our solutions to integrate with that. It didn't take very long. There was no big development like that, and so we could basically do it almost out of the box. And that was very amazing. And of course, any additional things in configuring things or so, also with coming back to SDN and NFV or so in this environments, also working with Intel there. They have all the steps to interwork there, and we can set that up as jobs in our controllers, and we execute whatever command is required. So that was a very natural and very good approach with Intel. One thing I would like to add is we will be at the Telemanagement Forum again this year, but now this year at 4 locations. So we will be, of course, with our Infosim booth there, and we also have 2 catalysts there where we also show, one is with SDN in this environment, the other is with IoT Industrial, and we're very pleased to be also invited to show at the Intel booth, So 4 locations there. Please, if you are there, take that opportunity. We're happy to show these things live, So I hope this did answer the question. Please, Dietmar, go ahead.
I am very sure the question was answered 100%. Thank you very much, Peter, and thanks for sliding in a little bit of marketing information at the end for those of you who are not familiar with the TM Forum. TM Forum meets in Nice this year again, starting 15th of May. I think it's from the 15th to the 18th. If you need more information, just visit our website. I apologize to the parts of our audience that have put in more questions. As a matter of fact, we could do this Q&A for another 20-30 minutes probably, but due to our time limit, which we have overstepped by a couple of minutes already, we need to cut this one short, but don't be mad at us. We will, of course, follow up every single question via email. I have informed most of the audience members who've asked questions already about that, so just for all of you to know. And there is more information on this topic available on a number of Intel websites, as you can see on the slide Peter has just brought up. All of those links will be available in the PDF you can download, so you don't need to take them down. And of course, we do have a lot of more information about this topic and other StableNet related topic on our website as well. If you would advance another slide, Peter, we can show that as well. So I guess that's all from us for this time. So thank you very much, Dr. Wagner, for joining us today. And thank you very much, Peter, for the demonstration, and Chris for the live demo. And well, I'd like to thank everyone for joining us today. As I've mentioned earlier, we've recorded the webinar. It's going to be made available to all of you with a quick email and a link tomorrow. And of course, we're going to keep this session open for a few more minutes in case anyone from our audience decides to type in another question. So feel free to give us your thoughts, requests, and remarks. And just a final information, our next global webinar day here at Infosim is on May 18th, right at the end of the TM Forum. The topic hasn't been decided yet, but if you are on our mailing list, then you'll get an invite within the next 2 weeks. In case you aren't on our mailing list, this is a good time to visit our website and make sure we include you in the invites for those global webinar days. Well, thanks again for joining us, and enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye.
Thanks, bye.
Thank you, Dietmar. Thanks a lot, and thanks for the audience for listening. So have a great day. If any questions come up, just let us know, please.